See, it's stuff like this that gives me trust issues.
Welcome to the Trust Issues podcast. We have trust issues with the traditional society-dictated path, with the status quo, with the whole get an education, land a job, and work tirelessly until you're 6 feet under. It's time to upgrade your life with the help of us. I'm Erica.
And I'm Kyle Auckland. We're a husband and wife duo, but we're also entrepreneurs, biohackers, and business builders.
Every week, we're dedicated to having purposeful conversations with each other and leading experts on topics like wellness, relationships, and entrepreneurship.
Subscribe to Trust Issues Podcast if you're looking for bold topics, honest dialogue, and valuable lessons.
Welcome to another episode of the Trust Issues Podcast. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the highs, the lows of marriage. Yes. Fun fact, today of recording, we've actually been married for 8 years. We've been waiting to do that. Yeah. We literally have our little superpower here. For those who are listening, we have a tattoo on our arms and it's the day that we were married. And another fun fact, we were married in a courthouse.
Yes.
Totally random. We'll put a little thumbnail so you can see the image, the picture of what we looked like that day.
Our glow up.
Yeah, the glow up is real. And then afterwards we went and got cheeseburgers.
We did.
And yeah, 8 years married.
Together for how long?
19 years.
19.
Are you quizzing me? Did you know?
Well, should we tell everyone how?
Yes, you can tell them.
This morning, the only way we knew it was our anniversary is because my mom texted us happy anniversary.
Yes. She was on point. We dropped the ball.
Yes.
We're a little bit in a hustle season right now. Yeah. You know, we were planning on recording.
We don't hold it against each other, though.
No, we don't. It's okay. We're going to celebrate it. Yes. But it's just funny. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about 8 years married,
8 years of marriage.
19 together.
Yes.
You know, I think that there's definitely things we've done wrong.
Oh my gosh.
And things we've totally messed up. And also things we've done right. And obviously because we're still together.
Yeah.
So
I feel like almost a large part of our time together, it's honestly felt like we just continually mess up and do things wrong. You know what I mean? And then we turn around, it's like, oh, things are starting to work. So it's like, you know, we've been down that road of constant mess ups and mistakes and all of that. It's part of the process.
So let's start with that.
Yeah.
What are some of the worst worst decisions we've made in our marriage? And you know, we're not gonna maybe pull out all of the dirty laundry, but we can say maybe some of the mistakes, the things that you shouldn't do. If you're listening to this show, the things you shouldn't do if you want to stay married. Let's talk about those things first.
Well, I don't think I'd say exact, because I don't know. I can't even remember exact things we've done
Maybe
wrong.
not days in our lives.
Yeah. I think yes, we've made plenty of mistakes. And I think the one thing where I'll say to kind of blanket it is that we have always been, you more than me, we've always been very open to feedback, communication before we enter into something new we want to try or a process we want to use or a new system or whatever. I think we've been very open with communication, where I think that's where maybe a lot of people can fall into that mistake of not being open. And it's that's where you can run into real issues. So we've made plenty of mistakes, but we've always been on the same page of what we were doing. So maybe if it was a mistake, there was a lot of grace there. And
well, yeah, because it's we supported each other in the decision we were making. Yeah. So for example, we've lived in a lot of different states. We've lived in Virginia. We've lived in Pennsylvania. We've lived in Florida. We lived in North Carolina.
Yep.
Now we live in Tennessee. Planning on staying here. But I think that we look back and there is certain times when we were we'll make this move. Yeah, we'll make this decision. A huge life decision. And in retrospect, it wasn't the place we were supposed to be, or it wasn't really what we wanted our life to look like, but we didn't hold that against each other. We weren't oh, you were the one who said we should move here, or whatever.
Yeah. No.
We both really shoulder the blame together in a way, or
no, that's a good way
kind
to
of we carry the decisions together. We're not oh, it was your idea or whatever. And I think that's a huge thing in a marriage or in any relationship. It's you're a team, and we're a team in our decisions. And I think that that's a reason we've been able to just get hit, you know, and just keep going. It's we just keep dodging and just keep running together, because we don't turn around and blame each other of oh, well, this is your idea, or why did you we're well, we were in this together, so let's pivot. This isn't what we were supposed to do, and we'll make a different decision next time.
No, I think that's a a beautiful way to put it, because that's honestly, since the beginning, it's like, I mean, when we first got married, even when we were with your parents for a little bit, it's like
which we did live with my parents for a little bit. We got
lived,
married.
We live with your parents. We live with my parents. We've been all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No shame. It's like we were just trying to figure out life and get to where
in our 20s. Like, what are we doing with our life?
And also,
with our parents.
Dude, if you're in your 20s, like, just give yourself grace. That's your, probably said this before. That's your season to mess up. That's your season to try. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So just putting that out there.
Okay, but let's go back to communication, because I think you're making it sound so much better than it has been. Like, there's definitely been seasons where we fought a lot.
That's I'm the eternal optimist.
He is.
So,
you are so.
Anytime we slide down a slope of like,
Kyle's like, it's fine. Everything's burning. It's that meme of that like
the dog with the fire.
And the fire around him, and he's like, that's you.
We'll find a way out.
And I'm literally like, it's all burning. Like, we need to jump ship.
Yes.
You are so eternally optimistic. And it's a great trait that you have. And I need to learn more about that. But I think that's where we balance each other out. But I think, like, okay, let's just be real, because there's been seasons that we have fought a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that in any relationship, you have those, I don't know. I don't know. I've never been in any other relationships, actually.
Yeah,
so
it's
I don't
hard
know.
To gauge. Yeah.
We've been together literally since we were in 10th grade.
Yeah.
So I actually don't know what other relationships are like, but I'm assuming from my friends and what people tell me that, there's like a season where you fight, and then there's a season where you're just like, I mean, we've had that. I can speak for us. We had a season where we fought a lot, and now it's like we don't even really fight.
Yeah.
We have like little arguments and little tiffs, but we don't fight anymore. But back when we were fighting a lot, I think the reasons we were fighting so much is because we just didn't know how to communicate with each other.
Yes.
It's like you need to learn each other's communication style. You need to learn each other's love language. You need to learn each other's strengths. Like, you are so eternally optimistic. I'm the one who's always looking for like the problem to fix. And I think sometimes I get so annoyed with you because you're like, it's fine. And I'm like, you're living in delusion. And you're
it's true.
And you're over there saying to me, like, why are you being so negative? Like, like, we've gone through that.
Yes. No, that you're absolutely right. And I would say this, like, and I still do it sometimes. I've really worked on it, but I take things, anytime you give me criticism, corrective criticism, whatever, feedback, I take it very personal.
Yes.
And I was much worse with that. I've gotten a lot better because I'm aware of it.
I'm so proud of you for admitting that.
No, I do. I take it. And I don't know if it's the masculine side of me where you don't want to be criticized or whatever, but like, I think for me, I'm a perfectionist. So like, anytime there's like, hey, you did this wrong, or you did that, like, and even if it's something small, it's like, like, oh no, I'm bad. I messed up. I let us down, that type of thing. So I've learned to take things not so personally, and you've we've really worked on that together. So you've helped me out with that. And then on the other side, I think sometimes I've brought something up and maybe it's come out of a wrong tone or whatever. But like, I would say you tend to be a little bit more hard-headed.
It's fine. You can say it. I won't disagree.
Yeah.
Well, just for context, for anyone who's listening, if you've ever heard of the Enneagram, Kyle's an Enneagram 1.
Yeah.
So that is the reformer, the perfectionist.
Yes.
I'm the Enneagram 8. So I'm the challenger.
Yeah.
So naturally, I challenge everything.
Yes.
I'm constantly thinking of better ways to do things, or is this really how we should do it? Or how can we push? I'm such a pusher in our relationship.
And I'm very grateful for that. You definitely are. And it's a good thing. I don't even say that as a negative.
Well, I think we have like balanced each other out.
Yes.
I think a great description for us is like, we had one time, actually, we had a project where someone came to our house and spent a day with us and filmed like a day in the life type of thing.
Yeah.
And they said at the end of it, and this is a gentleman who spends his whole life telling people stories through video.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he sat down with us. He's like, how do you think the day went? And he was just kind of sharing his like thoughts. And he said, for my observation, you, Kyle, are very much like the rock.
Yeah.
You're the steady, which I always say, like, you are the steadiest, like you're the glue that keeps our family together. And he said, Erica, you're like the fire. Like, you're literally like blowing in the wind, just like fire, like taking over things. And that's such a great description of us. So I think in any relationship, I think identifying what role each of you has. Yeah. And it's not a bad thing. Don't assign meaning to it. Like, it's not bad that you're a perfectionist. It's not bad that I'm a challenger. It's just who we are.
Like, it's not a permanent label you got to put on yourself.
No.
You can grow and
and we don't even really identify too much with that because we don't even talk about it too much because it's like we don't put those labels on each other and ourselves. But I think it's like in a relationship, it's like figuring out what is each other's role. And it's like, I think one thing we've really grown in is before, like you seeing your perfectionism as a negative part. To me, now I can see it as a positive because I'm like, you're going to do something and you're going to get it right. And you're going to do it well. It's like if you're going to go and replace the piece in the dishwasher, you're going to like make sure it's perfectly screwed, right? He literally did this yesterday. He's going to like make sure. I'm like, I don't even have the patience for that stuff. Like if you put me a screwdriver in my hand, I would throw it. I'm like, I don't care. Like let it. I don't care if it's broken.
It may take me a little longer, but it'll be done
But
right.
you're going to get it right.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, I mean, you could probably share your perspective on me, but I think like I'm probably more... like I'm just like, let's push, let's go. Like I'm just like
you're like the tornado that comes in. You leave the debris all over the place, but you get done. You do what you need to do, and you're out, and you're on to the next thing.
This is true.
It's just that's how you are as the pusher. And it's a good thing.
Thank you.
Yes.
I hope it's a good thing. I mean, I think that like we balance each other out. And I think the first thing to kind of reflect on, don't do this if you want to stay married is like, don't take so many things personal.
Yes.
That's kind of like one of our biggest themes in our marriage is like we try not to take too many things personal because we understand we're two people with two egos, with two sets of our own like childhood wounds, with our own trauma, with our own things that we're navigating. Even just becoming parents, we've really actually realized
shift with
oh my gosh, and like how we're dealing with our own trauma that we never dealt with, just like through now the lens of becoming parents.
Yes.
But I think like if you want to stay married and if you want to stay with someone, like you can't take shit so personal.
No.
You like have to know that each person has like their own stuff that they're walking through.
Yeah.
And there's like so much grace that we give each other through that.
Yeah.
And that's why like we continue to laugh through life.
Well, and I think it's gotten to the point where if you can get to the point where your spouse or your partner, you can understand that they are bringing you feedback or whatever it is, and you can see that as a place coming from love, that makes it much easier to grow and evolve together. Because it's like if you're in a spot where someone's always feels like someone's attacking you for you doing wrong or like just trying to change you like from actually who you are, it's like, that's where you can run into a lot of issues. And I think over the years we've had those issues where it's like felt negative and attacking and, like we're just messing up. But really it's like we've been able to work and grow together to make that a growthful, loving process of like, hey, this is if we can mold each other together, the people we want to be, it's going to, benefit our son, benefit everything. Yeah. So I think we've really done a really good job. And it's been, like we said, 19 years together. So it's been a long time of trial and error to trying to, get to where we want to be. And we're still not there yet. There's still a lot of growth left. There's still a lot of things to do,
We're growing every day.
Yeah.
It's like even we learned to fight better. We've learned
it's so true.
Like in the communication piece, it's like we've learned to present it to each other. We know, like I know that when I bring something to you, like because you're a perfectionist and because you are already so hard on yourself and you have such a deep inner critic that like when I bring things to you, I want to make sure that I'm not like bringing it to you to add on top of that.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's tricky, like, because I can be abrasive sometimes. And so I try to really bring it to you in a way of like, hey, why don't we do it this way? This would probably be better. I'm probably not always good at it. I probably fail at it a lot, but I do try to think about that.
Well, you get right to the point each time. That's like, you don't waste any time. Like, hey, this is what I think. This is how I feel. Now what? You know, where I'm like I'm a little more sensitive with it.
Yeah.
I wrap it in love a little bit more.
You are so much nicer.
I try.
I think.
Yeah.
Okay, another part. Let's talk about another thing. If you want to stay married, I think that the piece we've learned so much about in our relationship.
What's that?
And I would love to hear what your thoughts are in this, but like finances.
Oh.
Like finances are such a huge triggering conversation.
Oh, yes.
In a relationship, whether you have money, whether you don't have money, how you're spending your money, where your money's going, how you're investing it. I think that having money trauma and money wounds and limiting beliefs is so real. Scarcity is so real. Yeah. And we've both navigated our own levels of scarcity, our own levels of just like limiting beliefs around money.
Yes.
And like as a family, like you obviously want to do things. You want a vacation, you want to invest, you want to like one of my top core values in life is like financial freedom and wealth.
Yeah.
And also like security and safety. And so like having money is a really important part of my life because that allows us to have choices and not have to say no to things. We've lived the struggle.
Yes.
Maybe we can share a little bit about that. But like, I think this is such an important thing that I think so many relationships, like so many couples don't even talk about this stuff. They don't even sit down and ask each other, like, how do you want to spend your money? What would make you excited? Like, I think we both have ways that we like to spend our money.
Yeah.
But like, if we didn't talk about those things, like it could easily be an argument. It could be,
Oh,
and I think like
absolutely.
finances are a huge stress in relationships.
Well, I mean, for years and years, it's been like we don't have money, or whatever money we had was going to either debt or it's literally, it was like money comes in, money goes out, money comes in, it goes out. So like it was a place of scarcity of like just trying to keep your nose above the water, basically, where all of a sudden we've entered this shift over the past couple of years where, we're making more money. Like we're kind of out of the red and we're in the green. But if you carry over those same scarcity tactics with your money
And energy and mindset.
you're not going to be able to, you're not going to have your money work for you. You're actually just going to end up basically losing money because you're it's that same mentality.
Habits. Yeah.
Yes. So that, I think that's been the biggest, and we've had, obviously I don't have a specific argument, but we've had many arguments about that where we thought we should have had more money and money was spent on things. And like, it literally got to a point where we're like, oh, maybe this is something we get some outside help on and like, wealth management or it's like, those are the things. And that can in itself be a tough conversation, because it's anything with finances it's so triggering.
It's so triggering. And I think it's like normalizing that. Like, it doesn't matter what family you came from. Like there's always some type of trigger around finances.
And this was funny. I had a high level client when I was in Charlotte. And I still talk to him. I'm good friends with him. I still work with him from time to time. And when I was with him for those couple years, whatever, he basically became a mentor to me. And we had some of these conversations around money. And he was literally like, I'm just going to let you in on some stuff right now. He's like, I know a lot of high level people who make a lot of money. And he's like, their finances are a wreck.
Wow.
And he goes, and they're not even like crazy stressing about it. So he's like, stop thinking that like everyone has their systems with money and finances,
like they have it all together.
He's like, they do not. He's like, a lot of people out there are literally just winging it and making a lot of money. So he's like, give yourself some grace. And he even said, he's like, I've been in serious credit card debt. I've been in, he's like, everyone has to get to a point where they make a little shift. And he's like, there's a lot of people who make a lot of money. Their money's all over the place and they're not even aware of it.
Yeah.
Even now, I know obviously with economy and different things, but even to this day right now, there was a study that it was like for the first time in history, the most people who make $100,000 are basically living paycheck to paycheck.
Wow. Wait, make how much?
$100,000
per year. They're living
paycheck to paycheck because their money, they're living a certain lifestyle and they want to uphold that and they're not.
Well, and now that things cost more.
100%. It's everything. Yes.
And I think like with a shifting economy, like having that relationship conversation in your household of like, okay, things are shifting. Like, what are we doing different? Like being on the same page with your spouse about money is so important because we've been on the opposite pages before. And it caused so many issues, caused so many stressful combos.
And the truth is, because this is a spot that we've been in, we can honestly say about it is like rip the Band-Aid off, go through the forging process of figuring out your financial systems because it's going to benefit you
long term.
Yes. Like you're going to end up in the same exact spot if you don't change anything. So it's like the definition of insanity.
I can still feel that stress in my body.
Oh my gosh.
Like when we would have tough conversations about our money, like sitting down, like I'll never forget the first time.
You still get a little ting in your stomach. Like even now I get a little, you get those old PTSD feelings
like my saliva's like percolating because I'm like I could throw up. Like straight up. Well, I literally remember the first time that we were like, okay, we're done with this literally insane cycle, this insanity cycle of being so stressed about our money, fighting about money, and then like dispersing because we get mad at each other, and then like we don't talk about it, and then we come back again, and then we fight about it. And we were like, okay, this is crazy. We have to like figure this out. Yeah. So I remember we sat down, and I basically had you like write out like every single account because we were in a lot of debt at the time. Yeah. And I was like, write out every single amount of dollar like in debt, the dollar amount in debt that we have per account.
We were just blindly throwing cash at bills and we're like, oh my God, just pay and go away.
We were like, please just, I don't want to look. Like just, if we don't look, it's not real.
For everyone, I used to literally, when we were in
this is like true
Chalfont,
story.
Pennsylvania, in our little
gross
townhouse.
We lived in this is where we got married.
I literally came back from work one time and I checked our PO box, our mailbox
Please
out
tell
there
this.
at the street.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
And there was just like a stack of bills, and it was mostly like credit cards or whatever. And I came inside and I just threw it in the trash can because I was so like beat up from, and I was like, I don't care. I threw it, and I.
You threw
So I don't advise anyone doing that, but it was just, if we're just being honest, I did that one time because I was so angry and just like, we're never getting out of this. And I just threw it all in the trash.
Oh, I literally, I know this now, obviously, but at the time, like I wouldn't have known either because I was like, I can't look. It was too stressful.
Yeah. Well, and at the same, I'm like, I can't even pay these right now. So I'm like, okay, come after me, I guess. I don't even know what to tell you.
Well,
like,
we've had that.
Yeah.
We've had collections call us.
Yeah.
We've had that. We've had one time our car got repoed.
That's true.
How about that story?
It did.
Literally, this is again like, and I remember you calling me, and I could hear the shaking in your voice because you were so like, I can't believe this happened. Like,
well, because
you were like, this is gonna create a huge fight between us.
Yeah.
Our car got repoed. Okay, tell the story.
Our piece of crap Jeep, it got repoed. Basically, we were like really tight on money, and it was
so
like
tight.
I think it was 3 months past the payment, and I was like, all right, next month this is what we're gonna have. I'll be able to pay, and yeah, next thing I know, I was
at the gym.
I got to the gym and I looked out and there it was gone. The car was gone. The guy was taking it, and I was like, oh my god.
And then you had to pay like a $50 Uber to go drive somewhere way
yeah,
far
and
out
I
of the
lied
city.
to the Uber driver. He's like, I told him because I was so like embarrassed that our car got repoed because I was like, it's embarrassing. You're like, dude, you feel like you're a failure. You feel like you're letting everyone down. Like, and I literally, he's like, man, he's like, I basically told him, I'm like, oh, I just parked in the wrong spot, so they towed my Jeep. And he's like, dude, this is a really far drive. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, whatever, dude.
It was a huge parking lot. There was like no one there. It was like in the middle of the day.
But I hope this, hits home with somebody, and just, it's like, you're not alone in these things. You know, everyone is dealing with this
Every
stuff.
couple at some point struggles with their finances, and it's not even, maybe that's, you don't struggle with not having money, but you struggle with the conversations around money. And I think like we've both done a lot of work on our financial just literacy as well as our beliefs around money. You know, we both came from small towns and conservative families who didn't really have a ton of money growing up, and we both had beliefs that we carried into our marriage. Like, I mean, for me, I always, like, my dad, I love my dad, but he always taught me about budgeting.
Yeah.
And so that's like what I brought to the table was like, okay, we should budget, but I hate budgeting. I don't want to do this. And it's like, you had your own things around money that we both like. It's like every couple has that. So the sooner you can talk about these things, the sooner you can get on the same page, and the sooner it's like when you get married and you're like, what traditions do we want to have with our family? Do we want to celebrate it this way? Do we want to do this thing? Like, do the same thing around your money. We spend more time in conversation talking about what do we want to like go on family vacation, or where are we going, or what kind of tree should we get for Christmas? And we don't talk about these things, and it causes huge problems.
No, it does. And even just going back to the word budgeting, I hate that word because it's such a small, like,
it feels
lack
so
word.
Scarcity minded.
Yes. So like, you swap out budgeting for like financial systems, and like, just like you said with your dad, same way with my parents. I love my parents and God bless them, but it's just like they would say, just put your money in your savings account, which is like,
and our parents have grown so much since then.
Well, of course,
like, they know
but
now.
And I think that's not just our parents. That's the general consensus of like how our generation grew up. It was just put your money in, save your money, and it's like, okay, well, what's my money doing in there? Like, it's like, you don't even think about it. Like, it's like save, just put it away. And it's like, instead of just saving your money, it's like, talk to a financial planner or someone, and it's like, figure out systems to make your money grow and work for you. It doesn't have to just sit in a savings account. You're going to honestly, in this day and age, if it's just sitting in an account, you're going to end up spending it.
Yeah.
Or like, you're going to end up using it for something.
Yeah. It's just like, not working for you.
No.
And we had all those fights.
Oh my gosh.
We had all those combos.
Dude.
So that's, if you want to stay married,
yes,
have the money conversation ASAP.
Yeah.
Get on the same page. If you need outside help, which you do, everyone needs outside help. Don't think that you don't.
No.
And don't try to do it all on your own. I think that's super stressful. We have a financial planner. We have people who help us. Obviously, that's a privileged place to be in. Even just starting with an accountant, or having someone that can look at your finances once a year or something, that can just help you feel like you both have support.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about, support as in our society around like couples therapy, but like, is anyone getting support around like one of the most important pieces of their life, which is their finances? Most people aren't. So I think it's a really great way to set yourself up for success with your relationship.
Well, and even I was going to say maybe this is something we can put in the show notes or whatever we do, but like maybe add a couple books that have really helped us out when we didn't have money, or, you know, we didn't have, because I've been in a spot where I've been so embarrassed about certain situations that I didn't even want to talk to someone in finance because I didn't want them to look at me like, what have you been doing? Like, so you don't even communicate. You're like, oh, I'm not talking to someone. They're going to be like, look at this idiot. He has no money. He messed up, you know? So like we started with like researching on our own and like finding a couple books that honestly really just kind of helped us out. And I'm sure you
as the husband, you know, in the marriage, I think that a lot of men can feel, you know, like their ego gets a hit there because you don't know necessarily what you're doing. And I think that can cause a rift in a relationship too, because of like your husband wanting to be the provider, wanting to be the leader. And I think that can cause issues. So yeah, like don't have shame around it. We've been there. We've had every single money fight you can imagine. We've done it. We've been there, screaming, throwing things, all the things. Okay. So you're going to be okay. But have the conversation now and really get your finances under control.
I will say this also, because I think we're a product of this. We started to have these difficult conversations. We started to get our finances in line. Not even like, oh, they're perfect, but we were like, hey, when I get this paycheck, this is where this is going, this is going, this is going. And just like getting that ball rolling of like being smarter together, that energetically opened the door for us to receive more. Yeah. Because we were in positions of like, are we ever going to like make it out of this? Like, is it ever going to change? But if you are literally just stuck in that cycle of like, your money's a mess, your mind's a mess, and you're just constantly stressed about it, you're not going to receive more because you have a ceiling. So like once you crack through that ceiling and make some systems and you get more open with your spouse or partner about where your money's going, what it's doing, I'm telling you, things will start to click and new opportunities will show up because that's exactly what happened to us.
Yeah, it's so true.
So like, you know, don't put that ceiling over your head. Yeah. Go through the difficult conversations and
do it early.
Yeah. Earlier the better. Yeah. It's, you know.
Okay. One more. Last and final thing. I feel that has been a huge game changer for our marriage and our relationship. And every single person can benefit from this conversation with their spouse. But if you want to stay married, you can't neglect your health. Yeah. You can't neglect your health and your well-being. Yeah. And this has been a huge pinnacle for our marriage and our relationship because we both have gone through seasons of stress. I mean, when you become a parent, you're not sleeping as much. When you're struggling financially, you're in such a fight or flight mode.
Laying in bed with your eyes open at night, just
we've been there. And I think one thing that we always kind of come back to is that when we are both healthy as individuals, we have more to bring to the table in our relationship. Yes. And we've both prioritized our health and our wellness because we know that means a better partner who has better energy. Yeah. That's someone who has more of a sex drive. That's someone who has more capacity to give to the other person. When you're completely depleted, you can't give to your partner. You can't give to your spouse. Yeah. When you are always exhausted, when you feel puffy, when you don't feel cute, when you're like, I don't want you to look at me naked because I don't feel good right now. Like literally, this is a real thing. And I think that when we prioritize our health, because we've been in seasons, it's a little bit like ebbs and flows. Yeah. But when we've been in seasons of like, we're taking care of our health, we're taking care of ourselves, we're making time for that, and we create boundaries around that, our marriage honestly flourishes. It truly does. And it's also like, I think when I say wellness, it's not just physical, it's also spiritual, it's emotional, it's mental. Yeah. That whole piece allows us to bring to the table our best selves. Yeah. And it's like in a marriage, if you want to be happy with each other, if you want to like be in love and be able to see each other, you can't see the other person if you're in your own like shitstorm. Yeah. You just can't.
No, and you're spot on. And I think, because I felt like for such a long time, it was the same. We'd get in a big fight over whatever, finances, all that stuff.
Here's the cycle.
And then we'd be like, okay, this is what we're going to change. We'd get real positive and we'd go a couple weeks and then same spot again, spot again.
Yeah, it's like.
And I think our shift where we started to change things around was literally, instead of like being like, well, why don't we have money for this? Or why do we do this? It was like, we would go out, even if it was just on a walk with our dogs, we'd be like, what do we want to accomplish? What is a goal we want to get to? Like, what is a future business you want to start? And that's kind of how like it's like the path started to open up where you're like, okay, well, maybe we can use, a little bit of this for that venture, or a little bit of this money for that. Like, I think that coming at it from a healthy standpoint of like, okay, we're in a spot we don't want to be in. We keep ending up at this same spot. How can we go about this different to find a solution? And it's like, start in a sense, like dreaming together again, and like coming at it from a very healthy way instead of a negative way. Because if you always come at it from a negative standpoint, the budgeting, the scarcity, it's like I said, you're going to keep hitting
talk about the fact that like when you're taking care of yourself,
yes,
when you have time to go into the garage, we have a garage gym. That's where we work out. I have a personal trainer. Love her. She keeps me going and she keeps me accountable. When I have my workout, it's literally such a night and day difference. It's like when I go in and I have a week where I'm hitting my workouts, I'm having the time for myself. Yeah. I'm doing little things like going in the sauna. I'm taking, a magnesium bath. I'm, sitting and having a moment for journaling and listening to my high frequency music or whatever, right? Like when I do that, like I'm like, I can dream with you.
Yes.
I can talk about those things with you.
No, it's a great point.
I can have the capacity to have that conversation. If I'm not doing those things, I'm like totally snippy.
Yeah.
I'm very agitated super easily. You can just tell, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I literally will out myself. I don't care. Like I literally will be
the same way.
So just like irritated. Yeah. And I'm like, don't touch me. Don't come near me. Like I just feel totally maxed out. And I think that's like where, yes, like dream together, but like before you get there, are you even just like giving yourself the basic self-care, like just having a baseline of self-care in your life? If you're not working out and moving your body,
I feel crazy.
You are a crazy person.
I am.
You are a true crazy person.
Yes, I do. I
talk about how crazy you feel.
No, well, I was going to say like what you were just saying right there. It's like all of our aha moments have been when we were working out or in the sauna or on a walk. Like you never have like ideas or the aha moments when you're sitting in your stress and worry and like, you know what I mean? Like you cannot do that. So like, yeah, everything that's ever happened that's been good in our life has come from a spot of breaking away, breathing in fresh air, like,
having individual time.
Yes. Yeah.
I think, and that it's like, obviously when you're in a marriage, like it's about like the two of you together, like now you're one, you're a unit, but also like you're individuals. And it's like, if you don't take that time for yourself, you're not going to be able to show up healthily. So talk about a couple of the things that like make you feel that. Like what are the things that you need, as a man, as the husband, what are the things that you need in order to bring your best self?
Well, honestly, I mean, working out. And I know one thing that's going to sound kind of crazy, but I know a lot of men could probably relate to this, is like just working outside. Honestly, like I love even just mowing our little lawn in the back. When I do that and I just have like a podcast on while I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, like you feel a million times better. It's like I'm out in the sun doing that and you just feel better. So like definitely that. Sauna is huge for me. When I'm in the sauna, I feel like I completely unwind and like I can just think. So like sauna is huge for me. Those are probably my three like big ones, is like, so working out, sauna, and
working outside.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple. It's like all pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a huge thing we prioritize too as a family, is almost pretty much every single day we plan a walk.
Yes.
Like we actually as a family, we're like phones off or like in the bottom of the stroller.
Yeah.
And we are going to just get out and like get some fresh air and walk together.
And I think even from what we've been through with pandemic and everything, it's kind of opened the door for a lot of people to work from home, like even after all this. And me and you, we both work together. We're at home. We're here, always in the same spot. So like we need
get a little stir crazy.
We need that individual time of like, go out on your own for a couple hours. Go like, if you want to go to a coffee shop, want to go do a workout somewhere new, like go do that and be on your own. That is like, that's helped so much. Like that new pattern of like, go figure it out. Like go think.
Go think. I think that's huge. So for me, I would say definitely working out. Yeah. There's an element of like too, it's like getting frustration out of your body for me. Like when I move, I mean, movement is medicine. It's literally free medicine. So it's like when I move, when I just like can get my stress out, when I can go have a moment, it's like I come back and I'm like, okay, oh my gosh, I had this idea. Oh my gosh, like we should do this or this, you know, I had a breakthrough around this, or we just are so much more cohesive in our marriage. I feel like when we're doing these things.
Yeah.
So it's like for me, definitely moving my body. For me, I think having time to be alone and recharge alone. So that could be journaling, that could be reading my Kindle, that could be, you know, spending time working. I honestly love working as well. So just like getting away and going to create some content or something.
No, you do well with that. Yeah.
And I think for me too, it's like getting outside. Whenever we do that, it just brings things full circle. It's funny. It's almost like whenever it's been a hard day and we've had just like so much shit thrown at us that day, or it just like feels like it's nonstop and it's piling up, and we're just like, okay, stop everything.
Yeah.
Let's go on a walk.
No, this is
Let's go on a walk. I swear to God, this is literally a life hack. We literally go out and we're like, life isn't that bad. Like so, we're okay. Like it's gonna be all right. Even if we fought that morning, even if our son's been just like, you know, having a hard day himself, we all just get outside and we're like, oh, okay. Like, it's all gonna be all right. We're gonna make it.
And I think this is kind of a beautiful place to button it up with this. So like literally, I think the last thing to wrap this all up is what we've implemented the most too. Cause I think this past year with our son and just learning this whole new process of life is like, there were hard days, but at the end of every day, we've literally practiced gratitude. Like literally we'll be upstairs getting ready for like showers and getting ready for bed. And it's like, I look at you and I'm like, hey, I know today didn't go as planned.
You do this
really well. I know it was tough today, but all three of us are still healthy in this house. We made it through today. We can start again tomorrow. Like we're together. I'm grateful, you know.
We're healthy.
Yeah. And usually that like, you can exhale with that. Practicing gratitude. I think that's a great way to finish it up.
Yeah. Gratitude is huge. And you're really good at that.
Yeah.
You really do that in our marriage. So that's really good. Yeah. So if you are in a place where you're in a new relationship, or maybe you've been with the person that you're with for a while, and you're just wanting to, I don't know, take things to the next level or just like grow deeper in your relationship with each other, I think, you know, just to summarize, have hard conversations.
Yes.
Talk about the hard things. Talk about the important things.
Yeah.
Practice gratitude. Make sure that you have time to take care of yourself so that you can bring your best self to the relationship.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, be on the same team.
Yes.
Like be on the same team, because life is hard. There's so much shit out there that is like trying to take us down, and the world is freaking crazy. And it's so easy to look at the person you're with and like blame them, or, you know, spew or unload on them.
Yeah.
And that's never going to get you the relationship that you want. If you guys are a team and you make sure you do, you know, these basic things, I'm sure we're missing some. If you want to enter the conversation, come to social media. Let us know on social. What are some things that you do in your relationship? How long have you been with your partner?
I'm ready to learn more.
We want to learn. We're constantly trying to learn in our relationship and get better, because like you said, it's like we're still growing. We still have so much to grow. Even though we've been together 19 years, it's like I feel like we're still 25 years old. Like I feel like we're still young. And so give yourselves grace. You know, it's a process. It's a relationship that it's not static. It's so complex, and it's constantly moving and shifting and growing and pivoting. And it's like, you know, if you're on the same team, I think you can honestly get through anything together.
100%.
Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you over on social media.